Hey there! Oh, Bob from Wisconsin Garden. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it after the show. Right now, let's just get into the show. GreenGro. Mark down there at GreenGro. He makes some amazing stuff. They're dry amendments. I don't know if you've ever checked him out, but a lot of people that use Nectar also use or are at least familiar with GreenGro. And we did a little video here, and I don't know if it's comprehensive, but it's some good information about using GreenGro and Nectar for the Gods together, and I think it'll be interesting to you and maybe also spark some other questions that we can get Mark on here, or Scott, we can talk about it, about using the two things together. So watch the clip, and I'll talk to you after.
I think because he's using a separate line from GreenGro, which is
good stuff,
product, using some of our bottles with some of those organic meals being blended like that, will there be a bad effect? Is there something he should maybe look out for, keep his eye on? All in all, your plants are probably looking great. I mean, the GreenGro has a wonderful product line of microbial-based meal amendments. I mean, he does all these different blends, and they have a bacterial and a fungal base in them, so they're bioactive and ready to go out of the package. So
this is like a modulated super soil.
It is, and I think, because didn't he say he's using their soil?
GreenGro Pride Lands Organic Vegetable Bricks.
No, just their
I don't know what's up. And he's doing some of his own microbials, and he's using the Bigfoot too.
Yeah, so Bigfoot, Photoplus, SLF.
Yeah.
So I mean, everything you're doing is badass. So basically how I see it is using One Shot as his base amendment in his soil. The Pride Lands are awesome regularly top dressed, soluble top dresses. So, and then he's using the bottles to supplement and give extra energy. Yeah, I have no comment to this being a bad idea or it not being effective, because the things you're adding from the Nectar line, other than the One Shot, which is just a full spectrum feed, but you're using all the liquid available calcium sources from us, while you're using all of his nitrogens, proteins, amino acids, and microbes from them. I mean, it's going to work, and the marriage will be beautiful in the soil. So
the question, I think I figured out the question.
All right.
Does he still use a Herculean Harvest flush? So he says, I'm going to start over. What's up, Bob? This is all over the place. Long time since I asked a question. My question, does Herculean Harvest flush still work with everything else in the mix? I see a difference when I use it as a preventative flush. Calm, smooth, grows with no pH issues or swings.
I mean, it's the same thing, because even though you've got all this stuff built in there, you're top dressing these Pride Land products regularly, so you're continuously adding excess. I mean, organics aren't salt-based, but they generate salt numbers in a sense, whereas they're breaking down, they become an EC in the soil. So if that EC builds up and the plant starts accessing too much of that ppm, they just stop taking in the nutrition. So the Herculean preventative flush, why you see that oomph, that vigor, that boost, is because you're taking the residual leftover the plant just didn't want. You kind of flush that past the absorbing root zone, and then they start accessing the aminos and all the rest of the nutrition from those meals, and they just start thriving again. So as far as, if you're going to try to flush this down to 100 parts per million every time before you go to feed, don't do that when you're amending your soils and using Herculean. You're using Herculean as a preventative every couple of weeks to make sure you don't have a salt buildup.
Okay.
And it helps at maturing still, at ripening, because you're still offering that calcium load in the end of flowering cycle to help develop denser fruit at the end. So, you're not going to do corrective flushes the same way you would with an inert soil and the full bottle line, because with a corrective flush there, your parts per million are 200.
Yeah.
Well, you want them to be 200 to 500, and you're at 900 in the soil. Well, we know that extra 700 is because there's something built up and the plants have blocked. So we need to flush that out with the Herc. That reduces those numbers, and the plant starts accessing the bottle feed again. But when you mix all this crap into a bag of soil, you're already at 1,200 parts per million.
Okay.
So if you try to flush that down, that's pointless, because
you're just throwing it away.
Yeah, you're flushing out what you built. So, and I think there's a question coming up that I kind of grazed over that comes up to a 1,200 parts per million new soil question.
Okay.
But for what you're doing, the preventatives, I mean, look at it as a B12 shot. You know, we get to the end of 2 weeks and everyone's kind of run down because the excess is built up around the root zone. Hit them really fast with a little bit of Herc water, and man, it just cleanses that root tip. They can start accessing more nutrition, and you should see that continuous vigor every time you do a preventative.
Okay.
But everything else you're doing is fantastic, awesome. And yeah, no, Mark's got some great products, and you know, he stinks, but he doesn't stink. I don't know, I don't have a sense of smell. But that's why we use his mycorrhiza in our potting soils, and that's why we're working with him on bacteria and fungi, because they kind of know what they're doing and they make their own. It's very rare to find a company that makes their own microbes in this industry, and when you find one who's willing to work with you, then we've decided to brand up with them on.
And I would also say, while he is certainly an expert and certainly understands the science of it, he hasn't fallen into his own ass about what he's doing and the magic of it, or the we've discovered something. He's still learning. He's still open about the process.
Yeah, and understands the sun is the sun, and there's nothing new under it. So anything that we're pretending is brand new under the sun is just being brought to light is all.
Okay, what do you think of that? Informative, entertaining, helpful? Let me know in the comments. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. It's the OCG Fam Show.